Welcome back to Finnegan Begin Again. Today, we got Warren with us, and we are going to start installing the hydraulic brake lights.
And my brother's not here.
No, he's inside, isn't he? He's doing his homework, yes.
Yes. Wait,
So-
no he isn't. He's done.
Oh, good. Well then, let's keep Mama busy with Brett. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in the hydraulic lines. What that's going to require us to do is we're going to need to get the brake and clutch pedal assembly installed, which have kind of got mocked up because I had to figure out how to get it back through the tight hole. And that involved making sure that the clutch pedal was in the right spot so that a bracket, which I'll show you later, is able to fit through the hole. So we'll get that installed. And we've started mocking up the front end just so I make sure that the pre-bent tubes are actually bent the way they need to be. They're roughly correct, but it's going to require a little bit of extra bending. One thing that we've noticed also is that we're going to need to drill a hole in the frame, because I'll show you that right now.
And Dad made a little dots on this. We have an old car, his name is Finnegan. Rusty and dusty, a hunk of tin again. Fix him up, gonna make him grin again. Bring back the life, old Finnegan, begin again.
Here we are on the driver's side of the front frame. And as you can see, there's a bracket here that holds the hydraulic hose from the frame down to the wheel cylinder.
And it is kind of dusty.
Yeah. And this bracket is bolted in to one hole, and then there's a clip down here that engages a lower hole. Now on the passenger side, we have this hole. We don't have this hole. So we're gonna have to drill this hole on the other side of the frame. Here's the pedal assembly, partially in, needs to be bolted into the frame down there. Now, I'll put a clip of us removing it, you may remember that, but the trick to getting it back in is here is the actuator lever for the clutch. And you need to make sure so that this barrel, the brake pedal and the barrel fit through this hole. You need to ensure that your clutch pedal is in the right spot, or else this is facing 90 degrees and won't fit through. So I'll give that.
And what does this connect to, Dad?
That connects to the brake and the clutch so that you can stop the car and change gears.
So this means that you should never ever stop using these, because then you would just be pulled over by the police.
Oh, yes, pulled over by the police. Yep. And that's the worst thing that could happen, right?
Yes. My mom got pulled over by the police.
Oh, okay, we're done now. All right, so I have our hole where we need it marked in black Sharpie on black, so it's probably difficult for you guys to see. But we're gonna do it in successively, starting small and getting successively bigger.
And now you can see the back of the wheel. So, Dad's drilling a hole in for something, but I don't know what it is.
Is that battery going dead already? That's not good. But it is keeping our, oh, yep, it's done. Hey, yay, we've made a indentation. Let's get a new battery. Breakthrough. Okay, a little bit bigger.
What's that?
Okay, now we'll clean up the burrs on the back side and get this clamp installed. So we have the hole drilled, test fitted, and ready to put the clamp in. You have to be careful
And then,
not to lose this lock washer like I just did and had to fish it out with the
this is gonna go in there.
clothes hanger.
Right there. That's gonna go right here.
All right,
And,
now that's in place.
and the other one
That
is
lines up.
gonna go right here.
There we go.
Dad, is this one gonna go right there?
Correct, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
First, what we need to do is take the plug off this cylinder, and we're going to thread in this end.
Okay.
Notice there's a difference between the two ends. This is the end that goes in the clamp. This is the end that goes in the cylinder. We've got a copper washer. Feed this in first.
Dad, I'll hold this.
Thank you. Okay, it needs to go back. This needs to go through.
Okay, and then do I put it in?
Nope. We've got the clamp started there. And now we can feed that in. There we go. All right,
Who's the heck?
so that's the beginnings of it.
Going?
And now we'll get it tightened up. Same for the other side. Tightening
Okay.
everything.
And then this going to.
All right, here we have the brass T
And we
that is
put
going
this
to
in. We put-
connect. So the hydraulic line comes from the master cylinder back there through a line here, and then it splits into the driver's side front, and then completely goes through and over to the passenger side front.
And-
so we need to tighten this up.
And this connects to the pedals, and you push on the pedals, and then and then it goes down to here and makes the pedals go and stop.
Yep, makes the brakes actuate.
Yep.
And pushes those brake
there's-
pads up against the drum and
And
makes it stop.
And there's something that connects over to that one, so it makes that wheel make
And that is this line right here.
yes. So it goes over there, down there, up there, and over, and then it stops. Well, it keeps on going, but it's a black line.
All right, now we're gonna figure out how our line needs to be adjusted to fit in here perfectly. But to do that, first we have to get the pedal assembly on and the master cylinder in. So the pedal assembly is installed. Take note that 1, 2, 3, down here, 3 of these bolts go in from the driver's side to the passenger, but this one down here is actually not a blind hole. This side of it is threaded on the assembly, so it gets threaded in through on this side. That one was a fun one to figure out, but it only took a minute or two. Here is the master cylinder installed on the pedal assembly. 3 bolts, one on the other side, thread into the assembly, and then you make sure that your pin is out before you try to put the bracket inside of this bracket. Get the pin through, adjust your length of the pin back and forth. We'll see where that's at when we actually put fluid in the reservoir. And then set your lock nut to keep it in place. Now we'll just adjust it when we bench bleed the reservoir, and then we'll, now that the master cylinder is in place, now we know kind of where the other brake lines fit in. Off camera, I did some of the tubing without you. Sorry, but I need to figure it out. So I went back and reviewed how I removed the old ones and discovered that this is how the front wheels are hydraulically drawn. The fluid comes through from the master cylinder back there. And this is not how, I want to get a better angle for you to see this without the sun causing too much flare on the camera. But this is how it came out, but this is not how they sent the tube to me, so I needed to do some bending to get this to fit in here. But it's nice because these are attached to it. They look like springs, but really what they're there for the pipes is you can use those wherever you're gonna bend the pipe. They keep the tube from collapsing on itself, so you use those and you can make some custom bends. So I had to do that for this line, and then also for the line that's going to the rear, the initial rear line that comes and connects to rubber hose through the frame, X member, and then comes and meets this T. I also had to, for the driver rear line, I had to do some custom bending also to get that to fit in and up onto the backing plate and right into the cylinder. And I still need to do the passenger side, so I will do that for y'all on camera. And then that will be the last of the hydraulic lines to be attached, and then we can bleed them. First thing we need to do is make sure we can fit into the cylinder properly. So I'm going to start at this point. I'm going to thread it in the cylinder. Now, as you can see, this tube is pointing the wrong direction. It's pointing up. So, with the spring in place, I'm now going to unbend this curve so that we can get it down to where the clamp holes are, and we can use the clamps to hold the hydraulic hose in place. So, like I said, I make sure I've got this on the area I'm going to unbend, and just physically unbend it. Make sure that I can get it to where the clamp will go across. And it should be nice and flat going across that bend. So adjust it as you need. Now from here, we should be okay. Just gotta get this end underneath the torque tube. Let's see. Up here where it's going to meet the T, notice that it's a little bit too long, both towards the front and horizontally. It's fitting in there a little bit too tight. So, and it's also coming up hard against the bottom of the torque tube, which probably won't be a problem. No, it will, because they're all connected. So we need to create a little bit more curve underneath here, and we need to shorten it up. And so to shorten it up, I'm gonna go ahead back to the back and create a little bit more of a curve around the axle to shorten it up. And that should correct that, and then we can adjust as we need to get correctly into the connecting hole. Okay, let's move this up so we can unbend this a little bit. Now we're going to create a little bend here. Let me see if that was enough. Okay, yeah, that created us enough length back here. Now we'll transition back up to the front and make the adjustment into the hole correct. All right, I think we have the right length to get it in. It's a little short right now, but think if we take this bend out or reduce this bend right here, it's gonna line itself up. So let's get that up. The problem with these little bends, it's kind of hard to get a grip on it to do it. Okay, let's see about that. Now this is hitting hard over here. See if we can reduce that. That away. Okay, now is our fitting lining up. So that makes a good seal. We need to change this curve. This curve is a little too long. So that means we need to start the curve a little bit sooner. And of course, that's going to change other things as well. Okay, now, as you can see, right over here, we're going to have to increase this bend again. So that bend that I was working before will work again. Just undid what I just did. I'm going around in circles. But that's what this takes, iteration after iteration of just bending a little bit and a little bit so that you get it right. So I'll show you the final result when I get it. Got it fitting up nicely. Now what's left is to put on the brake line clamps. Here's the next one. Up here. secure them in place. And then we can bleed the brakes. Hopefully, I've done everything correctly, as this is my first time. All right, I'll get those tightened down.